did a 10-day meditation, silent meditation course, where I had to be quiet for 9.5 days, couldn't talk, only meditated. And one of the best lessons that I gained from that was understanding the impermanence of everything, right? Nothing's permanent. Good times, great, but not permanent. Bad times, unfortunate, but not permanent. So I have held on to that as I have, been going through this journey. It's like, there are gonna be days where, man, I'm firing on all cylinders, killing my meetings, writing my content, got the marketing plan down, boom, 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 boom. And there are gonna be days where I am just blocked. I can't get anything done, the marketing plan is not hitting, the advertising, that's gonna happen, but recognizing that none of this is permanent, right? Balance is important. Maintaining a sense of balance is key to being successful, not just in business, but just in your life, right? You have our good days, we have our bad days, so really holding on to that idea of impermanence, and not in a negative way, but just like almost in an uplifting way. It's like, yeah, I'm not killing it today. Tomorrow may be better, or next week may be better, but understanding that impermanence is just a reality of life itself. And so when you do have those days where maybe you're just not firing on all cylinders, hold on to that idea and that hope that, man, tomorrow's gonna be better, and you have that power to actually make it better. You can walk into tomorrow with that mindset of, man, yesterday was horrible, so today's probably gonna be horrible. Or you can say, yesterday was horrible, what can I do today to make it different, right? Can I start my day off differently? Maybe not jump into the work, maybe go for a walk. Again, like taking care of yourself. But for me, it was really understanding the understanding of impermanence and how that applies to life and business.
For us, it was, for me personally, so last year, I started on my fitness goals. And I told myself it's actually been a year.
You checking out your muscles?
But, I made it a conscious effort to make sure my health was right. And, a lot of times we forego our health. And I said to myself, hey, look, Uche, you gotta do better with yourself, man. You're eating too much, you're drinking too much, you're stressing out, when things don't go your way, you pick up that ice cream, and which is great. I love ice cream, I really do. I can have 4 different kinds in my fridge right now if I think about it. So I still eat it, I still indulge. But I had to make that conscious effort to myself to start going to somewhere, create some sort of discipline, which is really what it is. So it could be anything. Mine was just going to the gym and getting my trainer to scream at me every morning that you're not doing a good enough job pulling those weights up, which is fine. That works for me. But everyone needs to figure out what that is. Because if you can put your mind into something else, it would enable you to focus on what you want to do when you focus on what you want to do. The second thing is empower your team. I will say this without no doubt. When Christian and I first started our business, it was just 2 of us. And I can tell you that it sounds like fun when you're working with your, okay, all right. Now, I love my wife. I say this, I love my wife. But sometimes, when you're working in an office, you're gonna butt heads. And when you butt heads, it's really bad. Like, really bad. Like, I may have to sleep on the couch that night, bad. Or, you know what, dinner is gonna be a little bit small today, bad. Or you gotta cook bad, kind of thing. It doesn't matter, but the reality is, you gotta empower your team, and you gotta find a team that works for you. And we realized that early because we will work on that grind. I don't know if you guys have ever thought about government contracting, but whenever you do government contracts, the government is a very interesting, employer. They will hire you and give you all the work in the world and pay you net 120. If you don't know what that means, 3 months, 4 months, you won't get a chance to pay. And that level of stress is never good for a business owner because, we got payroll, we got to pay this contractor, we have light bill, electricity bill, the new car is about to be taken away, oh my God, we're about to be back at home. And those kind of things are not fun. So when we talk about empowering a team is where we were able to start bringing people on that understood the company, that understood where we were. So when we said to people, hey, look, we're gonna do this event, or the contract, we're gonna do this event, and because here's the actual contract we got, we're not gonna get paid for another 120 days, would you be able to work with us still? And that's all about empowerment, being that transparent. Folks who may not realize how important that is to share information with people we work with, but we realized early on that when you're very, very clear and empowering them to say, look, we want you to give your best, but we're going to understand where we are, and we will still support you the way we can, but this is our position as well. We give them the ability to say, you know what, I appreciate you, I'm going to pull my all into this, and we make sure that we are all successful. And that's how we'll be able to grow effectively. So yeah, it's been fun.
He touched on a good point. You all done us here, like empowering your team and the transparency behind, just empowering your team. So, to borrow your example, magazine needs content, right? Content comes from writers and creators. And so I've been very transparent with all of my writers and editors saying, right now, we don't have the money to pay you, but here is when you will get paid. Here is what you can expect. And every single one of them has said, bro, I'm not even worried about the money. Like, it's important, but I love what you're doing. I can see your passion, I know you're gonna take care of us. So as a leader, making sure your team sees your passion and can feel your passion, that will address anything in terms of compensation, at least in the early days, because at that point, in the early days, everyone is just bought into the vision and into what this can become, right? The money's important, but they're not gonna allow this project to be held up because you're not allowed to pay them, at least those who are truly bought in. So that transparency and showing and sharing your passion for whatever it is you're doing with your team is so important to those early days and that long-term sustainability of not just your team culture and dynamic, but just your product itself.
And we are nearing close to the end of this first panel, so we're actually going to open it up to the audience. If you have a burning question, please stand up and actually share it, please project. And then direct to whom you want the question to go. Is this a question for Leroy? Is this a question for Uche? And so take a moment, think of some questions. We're going to open it up for a few before we officially close out.